third movie in the X-Men franchise, X-Men The Last Stand. Now the story takes place where the humans have created a cure to cure all mutants, which puts Magneto's new Brotherhood versus the X-Men. Now this movie is directed by Brett Ratner, and we all know he's not the greatest director in the business. And I'm not like most people who actually hate this movie. I just found this movie really disappointing because I feel this movie is like a one-shot, meaning that it feels very disconnected from the first two X-Men movies because it feels like a standalone movie, if anything. Now it has some elements of the first two movies in here, like characters and whatnot, but it just feels very disconnected. I mean, and the title is called The Last Stand, and it feels every bit of it. It just feels that they really wanted to kill the franchise after this movie. I felt that Brett Ratner directed this movie sleepwalking because it felt that he had no type of idea what the X-Men universe was about. He probably didn't even watch the first two X-Men. He says, I'm just making a movie and just call it like that and just name it X-Men. He had no heart, no soul compared to the first two X-Men movies. And the story is weaker than the first two X-Men movies. And in this movie, it feels that they forced characters down your throat, namely Beast. Beast is hinted in the first two X-Men movies, but in this movie, he's just automatically there. I'm blue, that's it. No type of backstory, no type of origin or anything, even though he was hinted in the first two movies. But he's just there just to be there. I mean, he has no type of background where you can go off of. It just mentions that, oh, you've been a long part of X-Men history, but we haven't heard of you until now. And there's no explanation of Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler was in the second one. And for some reason, he's not there. And they mention nothing about him whatsoever. Where did he go? Did he go back to his country? Did he go back to the circus? Nothing. It just seems like they automatically forgot about Nightcrawler. And then they introduced Archangel, which played by Ben Foster. Now, he's a good actor, but you could have got anybody else to do this. And he had no type of story arc except for one little story arc in the movie, which you could have done without. Honestly, you really need to have his character in there. He served pretty much no purpose whatsoever except for one tiny bit. And the action scenes in this movie, it's entertaining, but it felt very cheesy and very comic booky because the CGI in this movie is really choppy for the most part. And with Jean Grey, you know her story from the first two X-Men movies, and you know what it leads up to. But this one, it just felt that they dropped the ball on this because they had so much potential you can do with that character for this movie. It just felt that they had no idea what they were doing with her. They just wanted to really kill the franchise off for the most part. Just kill everybody off and that's it. I mean, they killed so many characters in it, it wasn't even funny. And one thing I can complain about the whole franchise is this. With Cyclops, they made Cyclops look like a weakling in this movie. He really didn't have anything to do with the franchise except for one. I mean, he's barely in the second one, and in this one, he's just barely there. He's still moping around that he lost Jean Grey. And in the cartoons, he was great in the cartoons. He's the leader of the X-Men, but in the franchise, in the movies, he pretty much is a wimp. James Marsden is a good actor. I'm not saying nothing wrong with his portrayal of the character, but the way they wrote him wasn't the best. X-Men The Last Stand was really disappointing compared to the first two X-Men movies because the quality and the heart was not there, and it just felt that they wanted to get rid of this franchise as much as possible. I mean, with the X-Men franchise, it had the potential of being one of the greatest franchises, and let alone one of the great comic book trilogies of all time. But the quality, the story wasn't there. I mean, it's a decent quality movie, but other than that, it's not good. Like I said before, I don't hate it as much as other people do. I just find it really disappointing. So for me, I'm going to give X-Men The Last Stand 3.5 out of 5 stars. It's not your pure X-Men movie as far as quality goes, but it's an entertaining one. So don't give your hopes up comparing it to the first two X-Men movies because it's nowhere on that level of that quality. So guys, if you've seen X-Men The Last Stand, let me know what you guys think about it. Do you like it, or did you really hate it like most people do? And as always guys, please rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side.